This is Ed, and as you can see, this is downtown San Diego in the background. The picture's not current. It's a few years old, but it looks pretty good anyway. Anyway, the shot was taken from San Diego Airport Hotel, looking into downtown. And it looks like that, only there's a few more buildings showing now. Special guest today, Natalie Ter-Nedden, and she is in Gen Z, and I'm a boomer, as you might tell, but we're going to communicate. Imagine that. What's your experience in talking with Gen Z? You should give us your feedback, if not just to me here on Global TV Talk Show, and you could use my email for privacy. It's publisher@globalbusiness.media, and it gets right to me. Let's welcome Natalie. Welcome.
Hi.
Thanks. So this is the fourth or fifth program that you've been a guest on, uh, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Yes, I've had a lot of fun.
Yeah. So in the past, we've talked with you and some other people about generational divide or not, and not a divide. It's just a way of doing what, Natalie? Just being human.
Yeah, so I think when we talk about like generational divide, I think using that term kind of puts people in the headspace that depending on the generation, people are just different. And I don't necessarily think that that's always the case. I think there are differences in the way people that like approach problems and maybe the way people approach solutions or norms. But at the end of the day, we're all people. Something I've talked about on this show before, but I still hold to be very true. I think the way that parents, perhaps if we're thinking about parents in the early 60s, the way those parents had grown up, probably going through World War II and everything like that, growing up and then having a child who joins movements like the hippie movement or becomes a flower child, they're going to see their child as being very different and not following the values that they grew up with. And so I think today the trend persists. Parents are looking at their kids and saying, I don't understand you. This is a completely different generation. Everything is so different. But it's not really all that different at the end of the day. And, you know, if we meet people with empathy and understanding instead of meeting them with, oh, you're just different than me and I'm never going to understand you, then we can learn a lot about each other and other perspectives in the world.
Well said. So the element of generational divide is historic, but it doesn't have to be a divide. Uh,
Yes.
there has to be communication. So
Yes.
let's talk about communication. This is the thesis of this whole program series. Uh, the global TV talk shows started 5 years ago this March as a result of COVID crashing into my live conference business that I've started in 1984, a very long time ago. And so this is a medium, Zoom, just for one, there's others, but Zoom is so easy to use, even I can use it. So what I'm saying is that there's a methodology, a pathway to communications, of course, but problem solving and just explaining things. And how, for instance, how I appear sitting here in a black shirt rather than a coat and tie, um, and showing you the beautiful city where I'm at, just as a communications device. Now, I could put I take lots of pictures, and I use the phone because it's perfect. This is a Samsung 24, and it's got all the bells and whistles in it. And I've gotten good at editing the pictures, the photos, uh, on the phone, adding exposure in and out, or tint, or background, contrast, tinting, playing around with all that. And some of the pictures, not this one because I didn't take that, but similar ones, are ways to communicate. If you have the words, if you come up with some words tied in with an image, you don't have to open your mouth. You just convey something. Now, people in your generation in particular, en masse, not just artistic, not autistic, but artistic people, already know that. It's a no-brainer. But other people are not tuned in, and they're afraid of this green light rather than preparing for it. And the easiest way in the world to communicate clearer is using Zoom or a phone. It could be WhatsApp, it could be, anything. But it's visual. Now, this is a computer. They call it a phone. You know what else it is? It's a TV station. I have watched CNN, watched Padres baseball. This is the TV. But it's also a TV station, such as what we're doing exactly right now. And I believe that and I mean, just think of TikTok, and Instagram, of course. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But older people just don't get it. They just don't understand. There's a blockage, and they don't want to understand. And so the way to communicate with people across generations, indeed, I've learned, across time and space, across borders and cultures, across industries, across generations, is using video, because it's much better than a phone call with no video, because you can see your hair, your eyes, your chin, your hairline, uh, my whiskers, and learn something about whoever you're talking with rather than just the spoken word.
Right.
So, did you grow up with media training classes? Of course not. Yeah, I don't think. Right? I'm guessing. I'm
No,
guessing.
I didn't.
Hey, we're joined by Mexico's Rigoberto. Have you met him before?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, good guy. And he has a young son, I think, 7 years old. We'll find out for sure. Yeah. Okay. Hello, Rigo. Hola.
Hola. How are you?
Welcome. And this is
Hello.
Natalie
Hello.
again. And she's in Southern California, and you're in Mexico City. So we're just talking about, and this is recording right now, we're talking about generations and communicating. And we're talking about the value of Zoom as and the phone as a TV studio. This is a TV studio. Oh, and it's also a computer. Oh yeah, it makes phone calls too.
Mhm.
And it's a library. And what else? I don't know. What else is it, Rigo? With the phone.
It's
What
for
word didn't
me,
I say?
I mean, the most useful tool for me has been definitely dictionary because
Ah,
I'm not an English native speaker and I constantly read in English and I struggle in finding new words or complex structures. So for me, if you ask me what's the application you use more, it's certainly the APPs for dictionary. And for me, it's also on this use because I learned English with the old Oxford Dictionary, which is a block of this size, and you need to investigate a lot about the roots of the words. And now with technology, it's amazing how in a matter of seconds you get information. Yeah.
Do you use the computer yet, or the phone, or something similar to communicate with your 7-year-old son?
Not yet. I just when I go out and he stays alone in the house, I put the camera, which is synchronized to my cell phone, and we are in touch because he can speak to me through the camera and I hear all he does. So I am spying him. But that's all we do in terms of technology.
And he responds.
He just say like, don't bother me, father. I am okay.
Oh, that's a good communication, though. That's clear. I mean, rather
Absolutely.
than hiding under the covers, don't look at me.
Yeah, he tells me you're gonna play the spy, right? Yeah, I'm gonna be the spy, but prefer to be. Yeah.
Yes, Natalie,
Um,
you.
I think also, especially for the generation that has grown up with technology, Gen Z and Gen Alpha, I think phones, I believe that phones for older generations, it's more so like this really interesting piece of tech that can do all these different combined things at once. You can communicate, you can Google things, like it's this kind of this really awesome machine. But for generations that have grown up with a phone, it's kind of everything. And I think older generations often struggle to understand it. They're like, this is a block, if you will. This is a tiny block you're holding. Why does it mean so much? But the younger generations learned have learned and grown up with using it in all sorts of different ways. You can write notes on it that can kind of serve as your as like journal entries, and so it's kind of like your diary. You have all these pictures saved on it, and these pictures are memories, and you don't have handhold photo albums that you've made sitting somewhere that you can look at. The way you look at photos and have these these memories is by having pictures on your phone, and the way you communicate with your friends is through Instagram or through messaging. And sometimes with younger generations, especially, as you're growing up, maybe it's not so easy to go talk to your friend every day. Maybe they don't go to the same school as you, they live in the next city over. Well, you're not going to call their landline every day like you used to when, for example, my mom was growing up. You text them, you send them videos. So it's this way for not only for you to communicate and to stay, informed with Googling things, but it's kind of like your personal way to interact with the world. And that's why I believe um, that phones have become so important for younger generations. And unless you've really grown up with seeing your phone as something that is inherently you, it's hard to wrap your head around why a computer is that important.
So let's talk about AI. So AI is being used by me here, or maybe it's AI is using me. Probably.
Yeah.
That the words are being recorded, and of course the images, and then AI Otter or whatever is going to send me a message, maybe send you as well, um, about their view of what happened in this TV show. It's here. It's not coming.
Right.
It's already here. So we have to understand it better and not be afraid. So, Natalie, on as you are expanding your life and looking at workplaces and work things beyond college, do you have any brainstorms that have happened in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks since Christmas, say, that or takes you in a new path, some idea because it's a new year, a new beginning, and suddenly you have new ideas? Is there any like direction that you'd like to share with us?
Well, I am going to be starting up a new semester at school next week. So my mind since the beginning of the new year has been focusing towards this new semester. And also, I work as an English tutor at my college, and I'm going to be working with a new professor. So that's definitely been on my mind.
Is a male or a female?
Female.
Uh-huh. And is this person a communicator? Must be as a professor, right?
I haven't met her yet, so
Oh,
we
okay.
will see. But definitely, this has been on my mind recently.
Have you been on her LinkedIn? Is there such a thing for professors, LinkedIn?
Um, I wasn't able to find her LinkedIn.
Uh-oh.
I'm not sure if she has a. I'm not sure if she has a profile. I know she exists, but I'm not sure that she has a profile.
It's a real person, not an AI.
Yeah, it is a real person.
Wouldn't that be interesting? Going to be taught by a computer.
I'm sure
Probably already
in the
happens.
future, if not now, in the future, I'm sure there's going to be AI teachers.
Right, right. The professor or the teacher. Uh, can you imagine that? Let's just say, your uh, child in the future, in the future, will be taught uh, maybe in a class situation, nursery school or something, at a very young age, with the aid of a robot or
See,
a computer in the room at that moment.
I don't particularly like this idea, and I'm not a parent. I would love to hear Rigoberto's opinion on this, but I think AI, as growing and as expansive as it is, I think it definitely has usage. But I would say that we as a society need to decide where it's used and where it is not used. And I think with teaching, AI is probably great if you don't know a certain fact, a certain statistic or number, and you might want to look it up. And in that case, AI can probably help you. But I do not think that AI should replace teaching that is, teaching in a way where you are trying to teach, especially children, how the world works, how people are supposed to treat each other, how they're supposed to interact with each other, what is right and wrong, how do you, act in certain settings, what good work ethic looks like. These fundamental principles that are being taught to young children as they are in preschool, kindergarten, and going into elementary school. You can't replicate that with a robot, not correctly. And I think we need to have that hard line as a society. Maybe if you need to Google exactly what math formula to use for the specific problem, use AI. But if you want to understand how math works, how should we use it in the real world? What kind of jobs would be really good for this? And how should we navigate that? I think you should talk to someone who's in the field, not just use AI to look it up.
So when we think, and this conversation is great, we think of AI, we just exchanged words that bring to me, rather than ask AI, I would ask Google. So it's the same kind. It's always been the same thing. Google's been ahead of the curve. They just didn't scare us by saying,
Yeah,
"No, no, you're talking to AI." No, you're talking to Google. Oh, yeah, same thing.
yeah. I AI, in my opinion, is something that I'm sure has use. As I already said, it has use. But sometimes I think people are allowing it to overstep its bounds in a way. I know there's a lot of Gen Z or Gen Alpha individuals, people who are very used to relying on their phone, who use AI in ways where I am not sure it's the most healthy usage. Like they use AI as a friend, like someone to talk to, because they're not 100% sure how to socialize with people their own age. So then like their best friend is an AI chatbot. Um, and in circumstances like that, I feel like, okay, you are letting AI way too close. It is not real. It is a technology. So we just need to find a line where it cannot cross.
Rigo, what do you think of that?
I was just remembering a history anecdote that that happened like 25 years ago. That I was at college and I had a girlfriend. She was studying something like technology, but she was not engineering. It was like a major degree. And then I'm talking about 25 years ago. And at that time, she developed a program where she can talk about and not anything, but she can make specific questions. And I mean this is gonna sound romantic and very personal, but I swear it was true. And then she was asking to the program something like, I miss Rigoberto. What what can I do? And then seriously the program was replying her something. I don't remember exactly what the program was saying, but I do remember when she let me know about, hey Rigo, guess what? I developed a program that I can talk with, and then we chat each other about yourself and so on. And to be honest, I truly believe that she needed a friend because it was like, come on, it's just a program. There is no sense that you communicate feelings to a program. I don't even know if that program has preloaded questions or preloaded answers. That I think at this point it doesn't matter because I think now the AI thinks by themselves. But yeah, I really like to remember that anecdote because now actually yesterday I used for the first time Microsoft Copilot to practice my English. I used to practice with a teacher, but he charged me like how much? Like he charged me like I don't know, but like $50 per hour. He's a
Oh,
he's super good one teacher. He really helps me, but at this point I cannot afford that amount of money. And I say, okay, let's try Microsoft Copilot. And it was super interesting the way we were able to communicate, and it was just a test. And I feel scared, but to be honest, I still feel curious to chat again with with that program. So yeah, it's amazing how it's changing the technology.
Oh, thanks for sharing that story. That is just terrific. So, so Natalie, what are the kids who I'm going to say play with, that you hang out with, uh, what's the right phrase I should use? Not play, not hang out, but
like my peers or my
yeah,
students?
no, oh, peers, friends.
Oh yeah, my friends, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
What do you do? What do you call when you get together? I mean, is there a name or you just hang? Just
we just say we hang out,
yeah, yeah, right.
or we are more specific about like what we're doing. Like we went to the mall.
Ah, yeah. Be specific. That's intentional. Cur Curiosity. I don't know. I feel like I'm from Mars talking. Well, not Venus, but Mars. So you're from Venus, right? So, so what about talking about age identification? Okay, so I'm playing, of course, with you right now. So uh, I'd like to focus on something meaningful for you today, and then we could agree to come back and do it more structured at another time. But keeping it unstructured, but donating some time here to how or what kind of a message would you like to use me in this vehicle to, and I'm recording this. And so you pick any topic, whether it's food or clothing or movies or music or even political or some lifestyle or about Southern California. Like, what do you think of all the people who have no home because of the fires? And
Oh,
that is just, it's mind-boggling when you think about all the psychological impact of that.
um, well, I, okay, so it's obviously very terrible. That people have lost their homes. We actually have a family friend who did in fact lose her home. It's really terrible to see, like, people are losing their homes, and also historic buildings are being destroyed. Like, it's awful. The fires have done a lot of damage. And I am thankful to be far enough away where it hasn't impacted me personally. And yeah, I feel for the people out there who have been really impacted by it.
Yeah. Rigo, what's it look like from Mexico City about the fires?
No, certainly it has been a big loss. I haven't read a lot about it. I just found the other day an article about all the economical implications about this in terms of how people is going to rebuy a house, or if the insurance is gonna pay back the amounts of money. But it seems to be like a chaos if you are not able to get back your home, starting from scratch. I can't even imagine how hard this could be. Or if I mean, I do understand that in the US, the culture of insurance is it's better than here in Mexico. I presume that almost everybody has an insurance, but I think for those that is not the case, or I mean, at the end, the insurance, I think the study that I read was coming from JP Morgan. They were talking about more than 20 billions of money for there's some kind of loss. And then, it's certainly a hard situation to deal with. And there's a lot of things that are surrounding about in the internet in terms of the prevention or what people did or didn't perform to prevent that. But yeah, I mean, it's hard for sure.
Yeah, it's just mind-boggling to think of that. So I was talking with yesterday. I was talking with a real estate broker in Southern California, a very successful broker, and I'm pausing because uh, well, we talked about a number of things which I'm not going to reveal at this moment. But the purpose of my calling him was um, to it was business, a business solicitation by me, and to secure his sponsorship and involvement in a special program that I'm developing for TV for this to help people who've been burnt out find a place to live. And what he told me was that he's already into that. It's phone's ringing off the hook, and there's so many people who are sourcing for a place to live, and they're going now. The Palisades from here is 150 miles north, and where you are, Natalie, is what, about 50 miles or something. And Altadena, Pasadena is even more further north. So these people are looking in Newport Beach and Laguna Beach and Huntington Beach and even San Diego County. And there's not that much housing available. And it's expensive. So we're thinking of developing a TV show, a broadcast that will explain what different areas are and pictures and identity things and he would be a sponsor and I would promote it. And we're going to do a whole series of programs, which I think is a great idea and very timely, but also very sensitive because people are really upset, and it is really a mental situation, not just business. So I'm seeking feedback and ideas from a variety of people, and I throw this out to you now. Of course, the idea is a good idea to have a communications device, but how is all this impacting people from different areas and different ages and different things? Like kids, let's say you and your sister, Natalie, were without a home. I mean, it's just mind-boggling. Can't even think of it. And on all the disruption that would cause, it's almost incomprehensible, other than a few immediate basic things that pop into mind right away. Where am I going to sleep? Where's my toothbrush? You know, things like that. And it goes deeper, you know. So we as a people must communicate things, and this is one way of doing it. And I welcome, Natalie, your approach, if not today, another time, to add to the conversation for younger people who are impacted, speaking out, using this megaphone, if you will, to just say, hey, this is something that I'm thinking about. Maybe that might work for you. So if you could think about that idea and maybe discuss it with Dad or, you know, others about, number one, the idea, number two, some words, or zero in on top 3 things or top 7 things, or prioritize this, but maybe not that, just from a young person's perspective. That would be really helpful.
All right, yes.
All right, good. All right, well, thank you for being on this program. Let's bring this to a sweet close. Rigo, thanks for your participation. And for the next Latin America show, LATAM show, I welcome you, of course, to be involved. And if you have someone who you think I should reach out to and invite, anybody, think about that. They could be old, or they could be younger, you know, any kind of people. I would like a business person's perspective, of course, but anything goes. We want to grow that series.
Certainly. Yep.
Yeah, great. All right. Thanks very much for being on the show.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Thanks.
Bye-bye,
Bye-bye.
Natalie.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Thanks.